what's over recent years, there's been a tremendous acceleration of 39 pubs a week closing in the last 6 months up to 2008, and up to 36 pubs a week in the first 6 months of 2008. So that equates to only 4 pubs a week in 2006. So you can see the massive acceleration, and if you remember July 2007, the word recession, although it might have been on the back of us minds, the back of their throat somewhere, it wasn't something that we was particularly worried about. So you can see that from 2007, since the smoking ban, it's been particularly bad. It estimates that 17% of enterprise pubs and 28% of pubs, taverns licensees were making a profit of £20,000 a year, which equates to less than £3.30 an hour for the licensees, which is well below.
Less than minimum wage.
Less than the minimum wage. So you can see that the landlords aren't really having a good time of it, like the media would like you to hear, that they're all driving around in Bentleys and this and the other, which is not the case.
You'll find it's worse than that. We haven't paid ourselves a wage for 12 months.
This is 17% of enterprise pubs and 28% of pubs. Yeah, it's a national. You've got to think that there are pubs in there in central London, central Manchester, etc., which will even figures out. But I would actually say that it is a little bit more optimistic than the true situation is. It's quite hard to see that really, but it just shows that it's saying that this is one of the pieces of finding that UKIP doesn't necessarily agree with. That pubs, with economic ups, that do all right. Well, in our research and the people that we spoke to, in terms of the economy, the pubs tend to do better. Rather than sat at home, they do come to the pubs. They come to network, looking for jobs and doing business in pubs, and that's one of the great things that pubs do provide. So, if anyone wants to have a look at this after in closer detail, I'll be more than happy. Now, this actually shows the decline in the beer sales since 1975 to 2008. We've had a slight increase on cider sales. That's probably been driven by, I mean, there's quite a dip from, quite an upward peak from 2005 when Magna's cider first hit the market and really took quite a large market share. It was probably the first time a large cider company has managed to penetrate the market. Spirits have stayed around about level. There's no really big peaks and troughs, which surprised me actually, because when I worked here, if you asked for if somebody said would you like a drink, and you asked for a whiskey, you got to clip around the ear, because whiskey was extraordinarily expensive and beer was comparatively cheap towards the spirit. But the levels of spirits have maintained roughly the same level, and the main increase, which we're all aware of, is the wine. And wine has certainly increased over the last couple of decades.
I think in those spirits things, do they include things like these alcohols and that, because they're all vodka based?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and I'll be honest with you, the truthful answer is I don't know. I think the way they're looking at this is pure alcohol, right. as in you know,
I just want to be
pure alcohol drinks, not mixes.
What the kids drink.
Yeah, that's the point, and I will bring that up actually. I'll check that one out. Yeah. But from the graph, as you can see, it's not particularly great to see from where you are. But spirit sales are more or less constant.
I'm just wondering if that's how they're keeping them.
Now, this is a very interesting statistic. Very interesting. The top line there is sales of beer in pubs are on sale. The bottom line here is the off sale, predominantly the supermarkets. And you can see in 1975, supermarket sales were quite down there, and pub sales were up here. And you can see there's more or less a leveling out. But I can tell you since 1979, where the pubs were at the peak, 16 million pints a day are now sold less in public houses. 16 million pints a day are sold less in public houses. That slack has been picked up by the supermarkets who are selling 8 million pints a day more than they were doing in 1979. So that's actually quite a frightening statistic. You can see the way the 4 big supermarkets are going. I was told quite categorically by a very senior executive from the supermarkets at the IPPR that the pubs are the next target. The milkman was the target. I don't know whether you've still got a milkman around here. The bakers were the target. There's not many bakers left. So if you think about of all the industries that we used to have, I mean, the milkman was probably the best recycling advert this country ever had. Where we see there's no bottles, and like if you're a clean person, you used to walk your house, you used to look at the mucky buggers for leaving the milk bottles on the doorstep. Yeah. And it was estimated that milk bottles were actually recycled 12 times before they were useless. Also, what was quite interesting when the supermarkets attacked the home delivery of the milkmen is that milk in supermarkets are extraordinarily cheap. Have you bought a pint of milk in the supermarket just recently? You'll have seen that the milk has increased far and above the rate of inflation. Now that they've done the job in getting rid of the milkmen, so they've got their eyes set on the pubs. Price of alcohol duty has risen at the rate of, above the rate of inflation in recent years. Last year, duty went up by a frightening 18% on alcohol. Last year alone. And the reason why I'm talking about alcohol, I'm going to come back onto the smoking because I think you'll understand where I'm getting to as we start getting towards the end of the presentation. The supermarket's obviously using alcohol as a loss leader, and over the next 3 years, alcohol with the duty accelerator is going to go 2% above the rate of inflation. I know there was an alarming piece in the Yorkshire News today, the Yorkshire Post, was it?
Yorkshire Press, Evening Press.
Saying that the beer was going to go up 10 pence a pint. I have to say, I think the government will be very, very brave to actually do that. This is why there's an all parliamentary ministerial meeting on Wednesday in the Commons, where 56 MPs who are coming up to an election year with the European elections, were certainly coming up to a general election in 2010, are basically shitting themselves. That this won't happen. I can honestly, hand on heart, say that this will not happen. But what will be happening, which is quite a scary thing, is that the new police and crime bill has had its second reading, and it's effectively going to become law by July of this year, which puts 9 extra compulsory conditions on licensed premises. Now, they're fudging the detail on this at this moment in time, but one thing I do know for an absolute fact, the entrapment of test purchases where they send 14-year-old girls into your public house, which I have to say, a red-blooded man would tackle it because they look absolutely gorgeous. And they're certainly not wearing school uniforms. They've got the bust hanging out and the lippy on. They never use lads, by the way, it's only girls they ever use, with the lippy on. And they now don't send them in to ask for alcopops or lagers, they actually send them in to ask for sophisticated drinks, wine, a bottle of wine, so which confuses, it's a confusing situation, and it's certainly entrapment. But what one of the legislation was going to be, one of the 9 compulsory conditions were 3 strikes and you're out. But they actually found that the licensed premises, the controlled licensed premises, pubs, clubs, were doing remarkably well in refusing underage drinkers. So what they've now done is move the goalpost to 2 strikes and you're out. So you can see that the pub industry is actually smartened its act up over the last 20 years, and he's actually quite good at policing itself and stopping underage and binge drinking. I don't think there's anybody sensible in this room. Oh, I don't think there's anybody sensible in this room that would agree that the supermarkets take exactly the same responsibility for binge drinking and underage drinking. I mean, for the supermarkets that actually turn around and say they take social responsibility of drinking as priority. It's just an absolute farce where you can buy bottles of Budweiser cheaper than you can buy on brand water.